Stretch out the dreams from my mind. Granny's got the scoop, let's unwind. Birds are chirping, singing their tune. Mystery of the day coming soon. Cup of tea and a buttered scone. Start the day, we're never alone. Good morning, rise and shine. Granny's here with stories so fine. Good morning, off we go. To greet the world with a happy glow.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful morning so far. We are going to get right into it. Grab your coffee, your tea, your cappuccino, your espresso, your juice, whatever it is you drink in the morning. Let's go to our spotlight on the missing with Granny. Jeremiah Davis has been missing since April 5th. Almost 2 months now, guys. Last seen in Nashville, Tennessee. 16 years old. He's 5 feet 7 inches tall, 155 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. His face right there, guys, just breaks my heart. I don't know what's going on in this young man's life, but if you know anything about where he might be or his disappearance, please call the Nashville Police Department, 911 or 1-800-GBI-FIND. We need to bring our kids home. Get them help, guys. They're important. They are our future. All right. Today we are going to talk about a woman who decided to take it upon herself to be the fashion police and find out exactly what happened when she did that. Let's get right into it. All credit to Law and Crime Sidebar with Jesse Weber. I do have the link for the video in my description for the video.
Ida Ann Lorenzo. That is a name that many people in Utah would likely recognize, but not for the reasons that Lorenzo would want. No, her identity was revealed online after she got into this heated confrontation with a group of young adults inside a restaurant because of what she did. She started this. Now, at first, the police weren't even involved in this, okay? It was just a viral video that might have meant some sort of consequences for Lorenzo's public image, not necessarily legal consequences, but maybe wouldn't have gone much further beyond that. But the thing about this was, it was actually Lorenzo who called the police, wanting them to do something about the torrent of abuse she says she was facing online. So, our story begins on April 20th, 2024 at a Japanese restaurant called Sakura in St. George, Utah. It's crowded inside, and Ida Ann Lorenzo is sitting at the front waiting on a table. And that is when she spots a group of teenagers. And what does she do? She approaches them, not to say hi, not to say I love your outfit, not to say anything nice, not to say how long you've been waiting for a table. No, she decides to tug on a girl's skirt, telling her she needed to cover up more in public. That really happened. That really happened. And when you do something like that, young girls, this day and age, what do you think happens? Someone is bound to take out their phone, right? Yeah, that is exactly what happened. The girl's friends started recording soon after.
I have been to her for the date, and if I have to watch her ass keep hanging out again, I will call CPS.
Yeah, go for it right now. He is 19 years old.
You don't get to touch her. We're all sitting over there. You do not get to touch her. Really?
We would love for you to call the police. Go ahead and call the police. Yeah, go for it right now.
She's over 18.
He is 19 years old.
Her, but you don't get to touch her. We're all sitting over there. Yeah, I do.
You do not get to touch her.
Really?
We would love for you to call the police. Go ahead and call the police.
Why are you? It's not appropriate.
I understand, but you're not allowed to touch someone's skirt.
really...
She's of age. You have no right to... It's a public place. You have no right to come out of your way and do this at all.
And if you don't dress like that.
Just leave her alone.
Don't
Just leave her alone.
It
You
has
have no
more
right
to
to
do
go
than
out
we're
and
at
do
a
that.
public restaurant.
100%.
We're all looking cute. We're all dressed up. I
Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
Looking cute.
No, exactly.
It
So
has
you have no right to
nothing to
say
do
anything.
with the independence of a woman.
We're in here with-
That's America. That's the country.
You should go sit down.
Yeah, you really need to go before you do.
I went to the state of Utah.
I'm so sorry. That's okay.
Now, the next day, a friend of the victim posted a portion of this video to TikTok, of course, where it went viral almost immediately. And as of May 2025, a little more than a year later, that video has been viewed more than 14 million times. The friend actually made a follow-up post as well.
At the end of the video, when I cuts off, is when the store manager comes up and is like, you need to sit down. Like, this is not okay. Keep in mind, everyone she came with is sitting on the bench, just like red-faced, so embarrassed. No one's coming to stick up for her. She's very clearly in the wrong. And she's trying to be like, all of us have to, you know, and we're just like, all of you, no one is here but you. Like, you're the only one that cares, you know?
So the teens wanted to find out who the woman was. So what did they do? They posted the video in a local Facebook group. And she was quickly identified as the person we're talking about, Miss Lorenzo. And that is when this online trolling started. Lorenzo called police to make a report on the 22nd. And when the officer called her back to get her side of the story, the conversation was recorded on his body cam.
Hi, Ida. This is Officer Brown, St. George Police.
Hi, how are you, officer?
Good. How are you?
I've had better days, but thank you.
What's going on?
So I have a bunch of little 18, 19, and 20-year-olds harassing me. They got offended because we were at a restaurant yesterday in public forum. We were sitting on the bench waiting to be seated. It was pretty packed because, as you know, the senior ball was yesterday for most of the high schools. And so I was sitting with a 10-year-old sitting on my left-hand side, on my right-hand side, my boyfriend on the left-hand side, and nothing but the whole rest of the wall was filled with 17 and 18, or 16, 17, and 18-year-olds. And a bunch of girls walk in, they go to make their reservation and are waiting to be seated, and one of their skirts were so short that as we're standing there, I see the 10-year-old pointing to one of them, and you could see her entire and the butt cheeks and everything hanging out. And I mean, we were just sitting there, and I was shocked. I haven't worked for the state of Utah, and immediately I was like, oh my God, that is completely inappropriate. We do not need to be sitting at a restaurant having a 10-year-old look at someone's private part. So I got up and I scooted her skirt. Got the skirt and I scooted it down to cover her private part. And the dad that was with the 10-year-old, he was like, thank God. And I was like, oh my God, is everything okay? And he's like, I would be accused of sexual harassment if that had happened. And so as I did that, everyone around me that we were sitting, they were all minors. The little girls were like, you shouldn't have to see that. Can't they get in trouble for that? And I was like, at that point, I'm like, okay, well, I probably, should report this or something. And next thing I know, as I'm sitting there listening to all these little teenagers around me, I'll applaud us for at least no one wants to see that, right? And they don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. But we shouldn't have to see someone's private parts in a restaurant. So next thing I know, as we're sitting there and we're discussing it, a bunch of the girls' friends come in and they start talking pure shit about me because I did that. So I finally, my boyfriend and I were discussing how to best approach that. And he's like, should we do something? Should we call the police? What should we do? And I was like, no, there's just a bunch of silly little teenagers. I didn't think anything major was going to come out of it, but they started to make threats. So I finally got up and I was like, listen, I shouldn't have to sit at a restaurant and look at your private parts. It's plain and simple. And I tried to explain to them the Department of Child Protective Services, and because there was a 10-year-old sitting next to me, and he's the one that pointed out that we could see her private parts, I didn't even get that far, because the next thing I know, I felt like the whole gang of women and their boyfriends, I actually, at that point, my boyfriend was like, I'm afraid they're going to hurt you or hurt me or something. So I finally just was like, okay, fine, I'm just going to sit back down. So I sat back down and I was like, we discussed it, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to let it go. Surely they're not stupid enough to do something dumb. Well, today I got, and I do have screenshots, they started trying to find out on a public forum who I am, my private information. They have since posted on the St. George, I guess, word of mouth, a video of me confronting them, trying to explain to them what happened, but they snipped it and they've put their own twist and agenda on it. So people have actually started to reach out to me to threaten me and all kinds of things because I work for the department. I should have called the police at that point. I should have reported it, and you guys could have just done whatever you needed to do. But that wasn't going to resolve the issue, that it would have taken you probably forever to get there. Nothing would have been done, and off they would have gone. And the 10-year-olds and everyone around would have continued to have looked at the woman's private parts with no one being able to do anything about it. And to me, that isn't right.
Do you have the video you're talking about?
The video of the posting that they posted?
Mm-hmm.
It's on the St. George word of mouth. Yeah, I do.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Facebook
I don't do
social media.
Can you send it to me?
Yep. Yes, I can send it to you. I can also send you the screenshot of them. They actually called me a fat pig and all kinds of things. I mean, and then I do have a text message from my boyfriend because as we were sitting there and I'm explaining to you, the young people around me, they're all from Desert Hills High School, I believe, but they were saying that this particular group of girls, they're called the Slut Squad, and they were just bullies. They bullied everybody around them. And I don't know if any of this was ever reported or if they have ever been reported as harassing others, but that was the whole agenda of the premise of why we were sitting there. And in my opinion, if 17-year-olds that are going to a high school ball are sitting there calling them bullies and they're known and labeled as the stripper squad, in my opinion, they're fully aware that the behavior is not okay. Basically, they're trying to get me fired. And accusing me of sexually inappropriately touching one of them.
Did you touch her?
No, I didn't.
I thought you said you pulled her skirt down.
I did. I touched her skirt, but I didn't touch her.
I mean, we can talk about that later, I guess. But after you send me that video, I'll review it, and I'll give you a call back in a little bit, okay?
The officer ends up taking a look at the video that Lorenzo sends him and calls her back. And on the second call, Lorenzo doubles down, saying not only could she see the teen's buttocks, but she could also see her full genitalia.
We tried to address it, and they didn't care.
But you didn't call us.
Basically like, we can do whatever we want. And that's why I said, listen, I work for, the Department of Child Welfare, and there's children's things, and they just went off. So then I was like, okay, you know what? At that point, so then that's when I was like, okay, I'm pulling it down. So I actually basically got her skirt and covered her private parts. And at that point, everyone behind me applauded, and they were like, no one wanted to see that. So
I understand, but I just want to make sure that you understand you can't do that.
Yes, okay. I do. However, other than what I did, how would you recommend that something like that be addressed?
You call us.
How long would it have taken you to have gotten over to the restaurant?
It depends on how illegal that is. If she would, for indecent exposure, she has to be actually exposed.
She was.
You could see her.
I could see her. I could see her pubic hairs. I could see everything.
Underneath the.
Yeah.
Underneath.
It wasn't underneath. She was wearing, the skirt was so short that it had crawled up her buttocks. It was exposing everything.
It's like no underwear?
No underwear.
Okay, well, okay.
Now, later that night at around 9 p.m., Lorenzo comes to the police station with her son to show the officer some of the messages that she's been receiving.
So these little girls have continued to incite a mob, and I've been harassed all day. Not only did they took it down from St. George Post and her Facebook, but now she put it on Instagram, and now she put it on TikTok.
Okay.
No, so remember you look at my Instagram account and they've been harassing me all day. So I turn notifications off and everything, but they are trying to reach out to they're inciting someone that reaches out for personal information to people to get their personal information, or someone that is known to like hunt people down.
Okay.
I'm 100% in believing in freedom of speech and free, but when you omit, delete, and make it seem like one situation is totally different than the other, and then accuse me of sexual harassment without the facts, like at some point something needs to be done and needs to be stopped, and they have a reputation for doing this, which is why none of the minor kids wanted to get up and say anything.
The hard part is, even if it's edited, omitted, deleted, obviously you could be looking at slander if it's not completely true, but the fact that you did touch her skirt, she can claim, if she wants, she can claim sexual battery, right? Mm-hmm. She hasn't. There's no legal investigation right now on either of you. Nobody's in trouble right now for any of that stuff, but it would have to be founded, right, on both ends, right? We know that you saw this, but we don't have any video evidence of her hanging out. We don't have any witnesses that have come forward and said this is what's happening, other than I only have your account.
And everyone thought she was a minor because she did look like a minor, and there was a ton of kids. It was the high school ball.
Did you think she was a minor?
Yes, I did. I actually thought she was, and that's why I was like,
I just don't understand. I don't understand why you went up and touched her.
I didn't touch her as a person. Like,
I mean, you confronted. But you see how that looks, right?
I got a standing ovation from everyone that was seating behind me.
That's totally beside.
What do you think, guys? I understand her being upset if that is what she was seeing, and having her 10-year-old son seeing it. I get that. It was definitely wrong of her to go up to that girl and pull her skirt down. That was wrong. She didn't have any right to touch her, right? From everything I've seen, they did press charges, and there's a plea deal going on now. But this is kind of an off-the-wall topic, isn't it? What are your thoughts about this? You know, I'm sure that age is going to play a factor in this. You know, you're going to have certain thoughts depending on your age, right? If you're a young person, you're going to think that there was nothing wrong with what this young girl did. If you're an older person, you're going to think, well, I wouldn't want to see that, right? And if I was sitting there with my child who's 10 years old and a boy, I wouldn't want him to see that either, right? So, in my opinion, I would not have gone up to the girls at all. You know, I might have complained to management, or else I would have left. One of the two. That's probably what I would have done if I saw everything that she said she saw. That's what I would have done. What would you have done? Do you think that what she did was right? Do you think that what going up to the girls and pulling her skirt down was wrong? You know, the girls harassing her online after that. I mean, the whole thing got blown out of proportion by a simple act that she did that she should not have done. Right? because it's never okay to go up and touch a stranger, especially when you're judging them for something, right? That's never okay. You can't do that. I will say this. I've seen her called a Karen. Guys, I do not like those terms. I don't know where they started from. I don't know reason why. I don't care to know. Because what I have seen happen is if somebody has a strong opinion, then they're called a Karen, right? That's wrong. Anyone can have an opinion about something, and it could be the first time they stand up for themselves, and then they're called a Karen. So I'll get off that rant, but I just got to tell you, I think it's wrong in so many ways. Please feel free to share your thoughts and your opinions in the comments below. As long as you're being respectful, I don't have a problem with that. I don't expect you to agree with me completely, ever. We're adults and we can have, good conversations. But this is not a drama or a hate channel. So if you're looking for that, just click out and go somewhere else. So please share your thoughts and your opinions about this story. I do have the link for this video in my video description. If you want to see the rest of this, feel free. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe and change the notification bell to all so that you are notified when we do go online. We're building a great drama and hate-free channel. We would love to have you as a part of that. Thank you so much and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at grannyscrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.